Hi everybody, Shane here at the Brick House, back again with another video. Today I'm going to be reviewing set 10290. This is the Creator Expert pickup truck. This is 1,677 piece set. Now earlier in the year there were rumors that set 10290 was going to be a new DeLorean, and I think a lot of LEGO fans were upset when they found out that it wasn't going to be the DeLorean and instead was this pickup truck. But the fact that this is not the DeLorean should not be held against this truck. This truck needs to be judged on its own merits. And what this truck is a fantastic replica of a 1950s pickup truck. Now, it is not a licensed vehicle, so it's not a Chevy or a Ford, but I've done some research and it seems to most resemble a 1950s Chevrolet. Now, out of the box, there are these seasonal pieces, and these are the first things you build. And you start out with the spring flower set and wheelbarrow, along with the watering can. You then move into the summer harvest of the carrots and radishes and tomatoes. And then you move into the pumpkins, which has this nice fall harvest stand, and there's also the spring harvest stand as well. And then finally you move into the winter holiday and they have this nice Christmas wreath. Now this Christmas wreath was at first a bit of a challenge to put together because it works as a lattice where one piece goes on top of the other and you have to kind of build it on the table. But once put together it is just really lovely, and you can even put it on the front of the truck so that you have your holiday truck, which is a nice touch. Now, I've heard some say that these seasonal pieces are a bit superfluous and unnecessary, but I tend to disagree. I think they add a nice touch to the truck and allow you to display it throughout the seasons with a little bit of variety. So I actually really like these pieces. Now, when we start to build the truck, we start with the chassis, of course, and that's pretty straightforward build. And then we build the firewall and then the steering mechanism. Now, the steering mechanism on this truck does work, and you can see when you turn the steering wheel that the front tires actually do move. And this is done with a lot of Technic pieces. Once the chassis and the steering mechanism and firewall are built, you then build the back of the cab, and then you begin to build the bed of the truck. Now, as most trucks back in the 50s, there was this wood paneling in the truck, and LEGO has done a really nice job of imitating that. So you then build the back of the truck, and then you begin to build the wheel wells for the front and rear of the vehicle. And that's a pretty straightforward build. You then build the engine, and the engine is very straightforward engine. But when you look at it, it's actually really accurate, and it looks like an authentic replica of a 1950s engine in its simplicity. So the engine is a really nice touch. You then begin to build the walls of the truck, and these gates are obviously removable if you want to take them off. And then you build the hood, and as you notice, this hood has this wonderful kickstand that in the old days most hoods were held up by this stand, and the hood is done really lovely as well. Once all of these pieces come together, you begin to build the doors. Now the doors are quite tricky, and they do open, but they don't open all the way, and they sit on a pin and then are pressed together by a 2x2. Now when you first build them, you'll see that this piece right here is actually going to be missing because you need to kind of stick your hand in and press the door together so that it holds, while being careful not to pull the door apart because the way it's constructed is a little fragile. So the doors can be a little wonky at first, and actually were probably the most challenging thing to do to put together on this set. As you can see, there is a sticker on the door, which is Green Farms. There are two printed pieces. One of them is here on the grill piece, which is kind of the emblem of the truck. And inside there is a printed piece of the speedometer and odometer. But other than those two printed pieces, there's a sticker here and the sticker here. There are not a lot of stickers here, which is great. And of course, the back of the truck is not a Chevrolet, but instead a LEGO truck. Now there is some playability with this truck. I mean, obviously the hood goes up and down and the steering works. But in my opinion, it is much more of a display model than a toy for a kid to really play with. There are some fragile pieces that if you play with it too rough, like these wheel wells might begin to become loose and a little bit undone. but it is an absolutely beautiful display piece from every angle. It's really an accurate representation of a 1950s truck, and it takes you on a trip down memory lane. Now, I was on a summer vacation up in Lake Michigan this summer with my family, and we were outside a restaurant waiting to be seated, and there was a red pickup truck. I think it was a 1950 Studebaker in really nice condition. And everybody who walked by that truck, young and old, stopped and looked at it and smiled. And that's because this truck brings back memories of nostalgia. And nostalgia comes from the Greek word nostos, meaning homecoming, and algos, meaning ache or sickness. So it's really homesickness and a longing for these good memories of the past. And this truck is just oozing with nostalgia. Now, I put this truck together with my two sons. I did the chassis with one son, and then we switched to bags 3 and 4 and started working on the engine compartments and the bed. As it always goes with building a Lego set, sometimes there are pieces that don't fit or some things that you have to go back and kind of figure out where you might have made a mistake. As is usually the case with two brothers, there were some accusations of maybe someone had put something together wrong before the other person got to build, and myself included. But we kind of worked that out, and we built this set together. And it was a super fun build to spend time with my kids and build this. And that just adds to the value of this set. This set embodies what Lego is all about, in my opinion, and it embodies imagination, creativity, and all the things that are great with Lego. And the thing I love most about Lego is when I see my kids put it together, and as they're putting it together, they realize mistakes, and then they go back and fix those mistakes. Because there are times in life where you can color outside the lines, but there are also times when you have to follow directions. And when you have the instruction booklet with a Lego set, for it to turn out correctly, you have to follow the directions. And when I see my kids look at something, realize that something's wrong, realize that they're missing a piece or something's not fitting together, and then they go back a few pages in the book and realize their mistakes, that eureka moment when they fix their mistakes, they learn from it, and then move on, well, that's really priceless to me. This set is not a licensed set like the Porsche or the Mustang, so it retails for about $129.99, while those sets retail for $149.99. I assume that $20 is what the licensee would have probably gotten. I think $129 is absolutely a fair price, and I don't think there are any pieces that are superfluous. I think everything fits really wonderfully together. Now, from an investment standpoint, when this set retires, I can assure you that it's not going to go gangbusters and double or triple in value. Like all Lego sets, it will appreciate somewhat, but this is not something that you'd want to invest in the hopes of seeing big returns. I can see it going up 20, 30, 40% in the first 6 months, or maybe even 50 or 60% within a year or two. But it's not going to get you those big returns that you sometimes see with certain sets. But obviously, money is not everything. The value of this set is not in its future value, but in the present of me building this set, enjoying this set, spending time with my kids to build it, and the memories it gives me of looking back to the past. And those memories are priceless. So my overall review of this set is, it's absolutely wonderful. I'm glad I bought it. I will definitely buy 2 or 3 more to add to my collection to give them away as gifts. I probably won't be investing in them, but as I said, this truck's value goes far beyond its future value. Its value is in its ability for you to remember the past. And I highly recommend this. This is, probably one of my most favorite sets of the year. It's really wonderful in every way. And even on the license plate, you'll see the license plate reads 1010290, which is the actual set number. That's my review for today. Hope you liked it. Don't forget the like and subscribe button, and I'll see you next time.